This conference will now be recorded. This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, it didn't say that recording started. So did you hear something like that? It says that record. It said okay. Okay, that is fine. For some reason it didn't say in my case, but because it's you did hear that, so I have no issue with that. Okay, just for the quick recap, what we learned in our last session is the basic of that the API. Why we need this API, where we can use this API, and some of the basic thing like what is collection. Collection is basically like a group of requests, and the request is the place where you are doing the actual request. So this is the actual request, and in request you can make a request with like 11 or 12 methods. Maybe there are like total 11 or 12 maybe, so we don't need to know all of them. As a tester, if you know at least 4 of them, then you're good to go. But mostly in most of the cases you might be working with get and post, most of the cases. But if you know what is put and what is delayed is, then it is fine. Like they might ask you, but you might not be working with these two. But in most of the cases you might be working on get and post. Get is to basically get the information, like whatever we did in our SQL query. You are using select. Select is basically selecting the columns, and select is basically means that whatever the information that you want to see, that's it. So you want to get the information, and here we are using get method. And post is to create. So if you want to insert a new data in the database, then we have to use this post method. Okay, put is to update and delete is to delete. So these are the 4 basic methods and 4 important methods that at least you need to know. And in the interview, they might ask you that what are the different methods you know from this API, Postman. So you can say that get, post, put, and delete. But mostly you are involved with working get and post. Okay. And after that, what we learned here is this is the place actually you need to place the URL. So this URL is basically created like if this is API enabled, that means that if it is configured for the API, then only you will see something like this. Then only you will be you will get something like this masses, right? So you will see some data here in the response, because this URL this URL basically is configured for API, and that is why you can see the result here in the console. You can see the response here. But in case if you are using an URL, so you cannot use any URL, you cannot do that. For example, if you are using this URL and if you are clicking on send, you will not get any response. It's kind of like you are getting the HTML page, and you already know that what is HTML is, because when we are working with that the element, we work with the HTML. So basically you are getting this page only, this website only, and this website, this URL is not API enabled. That means it's not configured, so you cannot use that for API. So usually if you need to test something, the URL provided to you by the developer or by the teammates, that will be API enabled or configured with the API, so that whenever you hit this URL, you will get some data. And as a tester, you don't need to know how to configure this, how to make this enable. You just need to test it. Your part is to test only. That's it, nothing else. So this is the one of the important part of that testing, that you should have URL. Is the one of the important part. And another part is what is the method you need. So you cannot use post method. For example, you cannot use post method, but you are using post method with this URL. So it's not gonna work. Okay, so they will give you the list of information like the data sheet or Excel sheet or some kind of document. They will provide to you that what you need to test. Okay, what you need to test. Let me open this regress.in. So they will provide something like this. So they will give you for this test to get a list of users. So for example, you have to test if you are getting the list of users or not. To test it, they will provide you the URL. Okay, and they will also provide you the method name. What is the method name will be? And after that, if you hit, and what will be the response? So you have to validate at least two things. One is response code and another is response body. Response body means basically the data. You have to validate that. Okay, so that is the basic thing that we learned in our last session. And other than that, we learned about this one, the parameters. Basically, if you have something, users, I believe it's a page equals to 2. If I go to the params, then it will show me page equals to 2. If you want to see the page, a specific page, like if you have 100 page, and if you want to see what is the specific page is, the value of the specific page, then you can just type it like this, question mark page equals to 2. Then you will get the specific information from page 2. Okay, so in this case, I think I hit the wrong one. Let me check. What is that? Users, API users, question mark, page equals to 2. Yeah, this is the right one. API users, question mark, page equals to 2. Is there anything that I missed here? Oh, I'm using post here. You see that? Because I'm using post, it's giving me like a different response. But I should have used get here. If I use get, then I will see the information that I am expecting, right? The page 2 and all the users of page 2. Okay. And as a tester, you also have to validate the status code. So status code is 200. That means your test is passed. So this is the like small recap of whatever we did in our last session. Do you have any question? Not yet. Okay. So that means you got at least some basic of the API. Let's move forward and then learn something which is also necessary for API testing, which is also a little advanced from now. Okay. So yesterday we also learned about the authorization. In most of the cases, most of the company, they are using either bearer token or they are using OAuth 2. So bearer, if they are using bearer token, it is like a token kind of like if you remember, we created a token from the GitHub to upload to connect to that GitHub repository. We created one access token. So the token is something like that, but in this case, it will be much bigger. It will be more characters, but it is fine. You will be given that token. Otherwise, they will tell you, okay, so use this URL, hit this URL, and then you will get the token in the response. And whenever you have to hit another request, you have to use this token. Okay, so let me show you how it works. Okay, so let's say this is the URL they have provided. Now this is not API configured, so I cannot do this one. It will not give me something that I want. Okay, let's check this one. Let's check this one. So whenever I'm hitting this URL, so at first, very first, this is the main request that I have to work on. For example, I have to take user 2. I have to take user 2, but I will not be able to get this user 2 until I have this barrier token. So you have to add this barrier token here. Barrier token. So you have to use this barrier token here. Now I don't have this token. How I will get this token? So they will give you the request. They already have this. They just will give you this URL. Okay, they will tell you use this URL and use this get method to get the token. So whenever you are using this one and using this get method and hitting this send, then you will get the barrier token. So it will be written here. It will be written here in the response the bearer token, and then after colon it will be the like this kind of it's not like a this kind of thing, but it's like unreadable non-readable format. So what you need to do, you just have to copy this one from here, and then you have to go to your main request and you have to add this token here. That's it. So once you add this token, then whenever you hit this, whenever you try to request, you will get the result here, because this barrier token is basically helping you to connect with your database. Okay, it's for the security they will create this barrier token. And headers is basically some specific information they have to use to make this request. So this will come from your team. This is by default. If you see, I didn't have create anything. Let me just copy this one. Let me just copy this URL and I will create a new request here. No problem. Okay, so if you see, this is my new request. It's still creating this request. Okay, this is my new request, and in this request, I don't have anything. I don't have anything in params. I don't have anything in authorization. I have something is by default coming as headers. So you don't need to worry about this one. This is coming by default. And if there is any extra header, then your team will let you know that what headers you have to add. You don't need to worry about that. Okay. Next part is body. So as I mentioned in our previous session, we have two body in Postman. One body, this upper body is a request body. Okay, so let me go to this request. So this is the upper body, which we call request body, because when you are making a request, you are using this body. That's why it's called request body. And after you requesting anything, whenever you are getting the response, you are getting the response in the body, and that is we call response body. Okay, clear? So don't get confused with two body. One is request body and another is response body. Pre-request script is basically for the automation. Test will use this test for test automation. and it's also for programming. The prerequisite script for also for programming, and usually here you have to use JavaScript, that is another programming language. We don't need to learn that because we are just a tester. Okay, so if you just know how to make a request, then you are good to go. Test is the place where whatever we are testing here manually, we'll test it here by using this test app, so that you don't need to do that manually. It will be automated. You can also validate this status code. You can also validate this time. You can also validate the size. So you can do this kind of validation here in the test app. Okay, and settings, we don't need to go over there. It's like whatever we have, keep it like that. Now, not yesterday, like in our previous session, we learned about, we did practice on that get and post, and I told you to do some practice on the other request. Did you practice on this put? Did you? Okay, so if you didn't practice on put, no problem. And one more thing, this is your post method. Okay, thank you for practicing, because if you don't practice, then it will be your loss. It's not mine. But I will show you. Anyways, I will show you. So if you see, this is my post method, but in this list on the left side, it still says get. So if you want to see this post here in this list, you have to save it. You see that there is a save button just on top of this URL text box. Just click on this save, then it will save, and then you will be able to see that post here on the left panel. Okay. Now let's do one practice with that put. So here we have to select put. We have to select put. Then let's go here. Where is put? This is the put. And for the put, you see that I also have this request. I have to make the request with this URL. So let's copy this URL. Copy link address. Go to this Postman and paste it here. And the next thing is, because you are updating some information, that means that you have to provide some information, right? So when you have to provide the information, when you are creating a new user, then you have to provide information. When you are updating some information for some existing user, then you also have to provide the information. For example, like user ID 1, that person, for example, for post page link. Okay, for example, post method, what we do, we create a new user. So let's say that I have a 9 user. Now I have to create a new user. So when you are using the information, like you have to provide the first name, you have to provide the last name, you have to provide address and job. So you are providing all this information and you are hitting send with the post method. So it will create a new user with the ID 10. Now let's say that you want to update the address for user ID 5. For update, you have to use put method. So this is the put method to update. Okay, you have to, whenever you are using put method, so basically you are saying that you are updating information. And when you are updating information, you also have to provide some information in your request body. So let's just copy this request body from here. Let's go back to the Postman. So can anyone tell me what I need to do here to paste my data, like to write my data here in the request body? How can I write it? So I am in the body, request body tab, and now it's selected none. So what I need to do next to get to put this information?
Is it we have to select from data?
Yes, that's right. Now see that, so it's a raw, and then from this drop down, I have to select JSON. And when you're selecting JSON, you can send your information here. Okay, JSON is a file format. Okay, JSON is a file format, is a like a kind of like you can say document. So I will come to that point, but let's learn about the put first, and I will come to that JSON. Now it says that name. So previously it might be different. For user 2, it might be different, but I want to change the name of that the user. Let's say I want to change it. I also want to change that the job. Zion for example, like that. Now, because I'm changing it, because I'm updating it, that's why I'm using put. And whenever I'm hitting send, it will give me the result. It will send provide me the response with the updated name and job. You see that, and what it will also tell me that at what time it's updated. So this is my expectation. Now this is your document that you have to match. It says that your response will be 200, and this is your response body. Now go back to the Postman and see. So this is my status code, response code, and this is my response body, which is matching. That means my test is passed. Okay. So these are the like at least the headers, like not the headers, like methods that you need to know: get, post, and put. Delete, you don't need it, but if you do at least practice only for one time, then you're good to go. Then let's move forward. And okay, there is one more important thing here. So this is a very good important interview question. Sometimes they ask this question. Now I am asking you, because I already told you this one a couple of times, so you might know. Now tell me one thing, that the post is for create and put is to update. Now let's say I have I have this one, this post method. I have this post method, and I'm saying that so no, let me go back to this put method here. Okay, so you already know that we have 12 users, right? We have 12 users in the database from 1 to 12. Now I'm saying, okay, so I want to update user 20 with this information. Can we do that?
Yeah, I think we can. So after typing it over here,
I can hear you.
You can hear me? Hello? You can hear me?
Let me check. Is this my? I'm not.
I can hear you.
Okay, now I can hear you. Okay.
Okay, so yeah, we can update this one. You already like typed 20 instead of 2. So I believe we can click over here, save. And if we do any changes in our body, we can also go to the URL link or the body. We can copy from over there and paste it. Then we can click on save. Then it will be updated, I believe so.
No. My question is, we have only users from 1 to 12, from ID 1 to 12.
Okay.
Now here I'm using, okay, so I'm saying that, okay, can you please update the information of ID 2 with this information?
Yes, we can do that. If database doesn't have more than 12 users, then I cannot update ID number 20. I cannot.
We cannot, right?
Yes, we cannot.
Okay. Anyone else? Are you agree with Mizan? Okay. So everyone, we agree with Mizan. But in reality, here, for the API, yes. So I got one no that is from Salma, which is okay. Can you please tell me why you said no? If you want, otherwise it's fine. I can explain. Uh,
Yes, we can update because we can include new data.
no. The question is, so I have an ID. I have a users. I have only 12 users with the 12 ID from 1 to
Yes.
12. Now, if I say I want to update the user 2, I can do that. There's no issue. But if I say I want to update user 20, which doesn't exist, do you think this is possible?
If we can create another field, then it's possible.
No, I mean that if there is no ID in the database with the 20, but if we are using this put method, so basically you are saying that can you please update the information of ID 20, but there is no ID 20 in the database.
I don't know actually then.
Okay, so in the common sense, what we know is if there is no information, for example, if I don't exist, how can I update myself? Which is like a very common sense, right? But in Postman, in API, this put method is basically you can use for update, and also you can use this put method for create. So this is one of the difference between post and put. Post is to only create. Okay, if the data is already there, you will not be able to create the same data like with the same ID. But with the put, you can update and also you can create. Okay, that is one of the most important difference between post and put. And sometimes they ask this question in the interview. So what is the difference between post and put? If you say post is to create, put is to update, now they might say, okay, so if I want to update a user which doesn't exist in the database, so and if I'm using the put method, can you do that? Usually your answer is no, but here in API we can do that. Okay. Okay, so this is one of the important question for interview. If you want, you can try to memorize this. Next
So
thing,
in API, put means also update and create both.
yes, both.
Got it. Thank you.
No problem. So let me open Notepad. So this is a Notepad, right? And if you want, you can type anything in Notepad. There are some formats, like you already know there is some XML format. If you have any XML file, it will be like this. It will be starting with the less than sign. You have, for example, class. We already did that in test ng, right? Classes, and then this is my one of the class. Let's say this is class. For example, my class dot java, for example, then class, and then I'm closing it, my classes. Okay, so this is done. So this is basically you are opening a classes tag, and then you are closing a classes tag. Then in the between the classes tag, you have one class, for example. And this format we call XML, right? We already know what is XML is, and we're already familiar with this format. And if you want to save this file as a XML, you just need to simply click on File, Save As, and then here you have to type what is the format will be. So this is my, for example, example XML file dot XML. So you have to mention the XML extension because this is my XML file. If you remember in Java, in TestNG, whenever we were creating testng.xml, it was creating with testng.xml. .xml is the extension. Here it is. I have saved this file as a .xml. Now, if you want, let me create another window. JSON is almost not almost, like it's a little different, but the format is, it will basically start with that the curly bracket, and it will ending with the curly bracket. So in the between, you have to type your data. Now the format of the data is very simple. It's a key and value. So one side will be key and another side will be value. So if you remember, we practiced on math. Did we practice on math? I forgot.
Math, I don't think so.
In Java, did we practice on math? No.
No, I believe no.
Okay, no problem then. So if you know that in test.xml file we have a parameters where you have to give the key, for example, username, and the value is password. So it is something like that. So you have to provide double quotation. Here you can say user name and then a colon to separate the key and value, and then again double quotation with a value. Value is, for example, standard user. Okay, so this is the format of your data in JSON file. If you have a multiple data, then you have to use comma, go to the next line and create another data. Password, colon, then secret sauce. So this is basically the format of the JSON file. Okay, and now let's, if you want to save this file as a JSON, you have to do the same thing. Go to the file, save as, and then example JSON, and then you have to put .json. Click on save. Now it's saved as a JSON file. And whatever the file is, XML file, JSON file, HTML file, you can always open this kind of file in Notepad. You have to just right click on it and then open it as a notepad, in a notepad. Okay, let me see if I can show you that folder wherever I saved it. Okay, this is the folder where I saved this. If you see, I have example xml.xml file, and it says that in the type. So here it says that example xml.xml file, and it says that example json.json file. So it's an extension. And if you want to open this file, right click on it, then open with Notepad. So you can open this with the Notepad and you can like update this file. You can whatever you want to do, you can do that with this file.
We
Okay.
can open this one by through the Postman also. Postman also.
Yes, if you need to open this in a Postman, you can also open it,
Okay.
but we don't need to open it in Postman. Okay, so this is basically the format of the JSON file. Now let's move forward and let me show you the format here.
So simply, if someone asks us like what is a JSON in a Postman, then we can say this is a body types format.
It's a type format, yes.
Cool. Thanks.
And the full form of JSON is, let me write it down. So full form of JSON is JavaScript object notation. Usually they don't ask this the full form of JSON, but if you know, if you want, you can just try to remember this. JavaScript object notation. Okay, so done. And you see that here in the response. So basically why we need to learn this JSON is whenever you are making a request, you have to make that request in a JSON format. And whenever you are getting the response, you are also getting that response in a JSON format. So you see that here in our response, this is in JSON format. So it's starting with the curly bracket, then I have some data. And if you have a multiple data, then they are using like this data, and then they are using this array bracket because we have a multiple data, and then they are separating each and every data with this curly bracket. Okay, where is the post here? Okay, you see that? So whenever I'm making the request, I'm using this the data. I'm keeping this data in a JSON format because I have to make this request in a JSON format, and I'm also getting this response in JSON format. Okay. Now, any question?
So after like saving this, only we will get see on our left side new collection. It will be select as a post, not in a get. So after clicking the save option.
Save, yes. So the last request is showing get, but I know this request is a put method. So I use this put method here. So if you save it, only then you'll be able to see this put here.
Got it.
So the thing is, in Postman, whenever you are working with a request, make sure that you save before you run, because if you're running one single request, then it is fine. But if you want to run multiple requests together, for example, if I want to run multiple requests, or if I want to run this whole collection, then there is a way we can run it. You have to click on these three dots, then the third option is run collection. Click on it, then you will see a new window open. So you see that this new window, and it will tell you that what are the requests you have under this collection. So you see that whatever the collections or whatever the requests I have total 5 requests. It's also showing the all 5 requests here. Now it's up to you if you want to run any specific request, or if you want to run all the requests. So if you want to run all the requests, keep it like that, keep all this check, and then just keep it like run manually, which is also fine. We don't need to do anything here. I want to run only for one time. Each request I want to run only for one time. If you want to run for multiple times, you can just edit this part. After each and every collection, if you want to stop for, like, you give a pause for some seconds or milliseconds, you can do that here. And then for select file is basically to read the data from Excel sheet. If I have enough time, then I'll show you that as well. But usually we don't need that, because we try to keep the data here. Otherwise, if you have any dependency, if you have any file to read from outside, then sometimes it becomes difficult. If you have a multiple collection, sometimes it becomes difficult. So that's why we try to avoid this, but sometimes we must need to use this. So I will show you if possible. And then if you want to save the response, you can also click on this checkbox. Other than that, everything is keep it like that, and click on run new collection. Run, and this is the name of your collection. It will show you here, and once you are running it, it will show you all the requests. Just it's taking some time. Now it's showing. So this is the window where it says that what are the request is, and why it's okay, why I'm getting this error, an error occurred while running this request. So this this one is not right. New request, everything is new request. That is the reason. No, that is not the reason. I have some issue here in this request. Everything looks good. Second request, it's a get request with a specific user, also looks good. I think the issue is in this third request, because third request is an invalid request. There's an invalid request, so let me remove this request. Delete. Okay, so it's done. So now let's go back to this new collection. So I deleted it, or I can also even go to this new collection, and whenever I'm running this collection, I can easily remove that or uncheck that request. Oh, I think I didn't save all these. That might be the reason. Yeah, that is the reason. I didn't save anything from here. So I have to save all the requests. So this is one of the important thing. Whenever you're running collection, make sure that you save all the requests, because when it goes to the collection, when it run the collection, basically it doesn't know that do you have anything, like did you add anything here or not. So that's why it's important to save your request. The Postman is working very slow today. Sure. So it's saved. Let me take the put. Put is also saved. Let me run the collection again. Okay. Finally, it's coming. Run new collection. Okay, now you see that, so it ran all the requests, whatever the request I have from this collection. If I want to run all of them, so it's run, and then it's giving me some kind of like result. So it says that it ran for one time, it took like total how many seconds to run, and it says that what is the average response time. Okay, and you see that for this first one I got 200 status code, second one I got this 200 status code, third is post request, so I got 201, and then for put I also got 200 status code. Okay, now this is the place where you can run your multiple requests together by using the collection. Okay, so let's say that there is another thing in the collection. Inside the collection you can create multiple folders. So if you want to separate this request by the methods, you can also do that. So there is an option for create folder, add folder, and inside this folder, if you want, you can keep your request inside this new folder. So let me rename this new folder. Let me close it and open it back because this Postman is working very slowly. Okay, Postman. Okay, so the Postman is starting again. Okay, so now it started. New collection, new folder. Let me give a name of this folder as get. It's a get folder. Okay, so once you have this get folder and if you want to keep all of your get requests, so you can separate this get request and keep inside this folder. Now if you want to create another folder for post, you can also do that. Post, and let's say that you are keeping your post here. Let's create another folder for put. So basically you are just organizing it. So to organize under the collection, you can create multiple folders, and inside the folder you can also create folders. You can do that, so it will be easy for you to understand which request you have under these folders. In one collection there might be like 100 requests, and all these 100 requests, if you want to organize, you can do that by using these folders. And if you want to run the collection, all the requests from all the folders, just go to this collection and then run all of this collection requests from here. You see that? So you can run it. But if you want to run any specific from the collection, you can also check this out and then you can run it it will work as the same way. Okay, let me run it and check it. You see that it ran for the specific request. Now if you want to run any specific folder, you can also run that, like run it. It will run only that specific folder request. You see that I have only 2 requests under this get folder, so it's showing here. Now click on this run, it will run only these 2 requests. Okay, so this is the way how you can organize, and this is a collection. Now we did some practice on the methods. We did some we know that what is the JSON is. Now we know that how to run multiple requests at the same time. So one more thing, in this Postman, there is one more thing you need to know, that is this console. You see that on the bottom we have one line, we have something called online, find and replace, console, cookie, capture request, runner, trash. We have some options here. So out of all these options, one of the options is very important, and that is console. Console is basically, when you click on it, it will tell you that what are the things you ran till now. When you open this Postman, what you ran till now. So I ran this 4 requests till now, and it's showing me here. And if you want to see the details, that what is the request is, what is the details of that response, you can also see that from here in the console. So you see that, so it's showing me that request header, response header, and then in the response body, it's giving me this result. You see that, showing me the results here. So you can also verify your results if you need it from the console. Okay, any question? No questions?
So I saw that in all tests passed 0, failed 0. Why this is like this way?
All test 0.
Like the pass. What
Yeah,
is
yeah.
this one?
We will come to that point, because this is something like part of automation testing.
Oh.
So let me okay, so I was thinking to come to that.
We didn't test anything yet, right?
Yes, we didn't test anything yet from that by the automation. So till now, whatever we have, let's say that if we run this request, we are getting the response, we are getting the status code, and we are checking it manually, right? Now we will see how can we validate that by automation, by the script, so that we don't need to do that manually. So if you have, like, for example, 100 requests, for 100 requests you have to go, when you run this collection, let me check the collection if I have this. No, I don't have new collection runner. Okay, this is the first one, I believe. No, this is the one. Where is my collection with all the runners? I don't have it. Okay, let me run it one more time. Run collection, and I want to run all these 4 requests. I want to run all the 4 requests that I have. Click on run new collection. So the problem is, if you're working as a manual tester and if you don't know how to test these things, test this data by using this test tab, then you have to go each and every method, and then you have to check the response. Now in this case, you are checking the status code from here, but if you want to check the response body, then you have to go here, and then you have to go this response body, this full body was not logged. Okay, so let me check it here. It's not showing. Okay, it's not showing here. So what you need to do is you have to go here in the console. In the console, it will tell you that what you run. So the last 4 will be last in the list. So this 4 is I just ran. So if you want to check what is the response was for the request, so you have to expand it. You have to go to this response body. Then you have to verify it manually, which is time consuming. That's why we have to know how can we do that by automation. How can we use this test app to check these things? And when you do that, right now we are not using it. That's why it says that passed 0, failed 0, skip 0. Okay, that's why it's saying that like that. So let's try to learn how can we. Okay, let me close something from here. Too many tabs are there.
Yeah, that's why maybe it's getting slow. Close all the tabs, please.
Okay, so let's say that we want to validate the status code. It's 200 or not. If you want to validate that as a manual tester or even as an automation tester, if you want to see, then you can check it from here. It's 200. That's when it test is passed. But if you want to make this test like automation, you want to check it by the Postman, you don't want to check it manually, then you have to go to this test tab. So the easiest part here in Postman is you don't need to remember this code, because Postman is already given this code. This 3 lines or 4 lines of code is already there. You just need to find it. This is a very good part, a very good thing about the Postman. So you don't need to remember, you don't need to memorize these codes. Okay, so if you see here under the cookies, I have some snippet. There is one option called snippet, and under the snippet, whatever you see, there is a list of things, and all are in blue color, right? So these are by default snippets Postman is giving to you. Now you just need to use them. Okay. Now, as I mentioned that I want to verify if the status code is 200 or not. So you have to find out that thing in this list. So let's scroll down more, and now there is one thing. It says that status code is 200. So this is the snippet that we have to use to verify if the status code 200 or not. So click on it, and then it will give you these 3 lines of code. So you don't need to remember this thing. Cool, right? So it start with PM. PM mean Postman. So this is a Postman script. So by using this Postman script, we are basically verifying that if this status code is 200 or not. So by default, it's giving you this one. So this is a kind of like a system out print element. So whatever you want to print, you can keep it here. You can also modify by your choice. Like if I say that status code verify status code is 200. Okay, so if you want to modify, you can also modify it. Now this is the function, and this is the actual work it's doing here. pm.response. So it's going to the response and then checking to have status 200. So this 200 is basically the thing that is checking. Now if I run it, click on send. Okay, let me remove this part and then run it again. Then I want to show you one thing first. If you see here in test results, before I use this test app, so I don't have anything in test app right now. So if I go to this test result, I don't have anything because I'm not using any test. But when you have this one, sorry, when you have any test here, and now you hit send, you make this request, then it will tell you, okay, there is a one test and one test is passed, because my expectation status code is 200 and I'm also getting 200. That's why the test is passed. So if you have a multiple test, it will tell you that how many tests you have and how many tests is passed, how many fail, how many skip. So you can check that in runner, in collection runner. But in this case, you can check it from here that in this request, for specific this request, did it pass or not? Okay. For example, this is pass, right? For example, your expectation is, for example, 500. Your expectation is 500. But if you get something else, what will happen? Then it will tell you that it's failed. Verify status code. So that is my system out println, basically whatever you want to print. So this is verify. Basically, it's called the function name, but it is used as like you are printing something here. So verify status code is 500, but I have an issue here. What is the issue? Expected response to have status code is 500, but got 200. So my expectation was 500, but I'm getting 200. If you remember in Java, we did the assertion. The same thing it's doing here. Is trying to match the status code is same or not. That's it. If it is same, if it is matching, then it will tell you that it passed. But if it is not matching, it will tell you that it's failed. Okay. Any question here? No? Okay. So if you don't have any question, so let's do this practice. You already have this request. This is the very first request we created. So you already have this request. You have to go to this test app. And in the test app, where you have to find out from the snippet that is status code is 200. Okay, status code is 200. When you find that, just click on it. If you want, you can select this for multiple times. There is no issue, but we don't need this for multiple times. Okay, so just click it for only one time and you will see this code here. Now once you see this code, just click on send and check the test result tab in the response and check if it's getting pass or fail. Okay, let me know if you have any issue. Are you done? No? Let me know if you are facing an issue, because if you don't know how to do this one, you cannot add the test for others. So if you are done with this get or this request, then please check this one, this put method that we created today. If you don't have it, uh, yeah, if you don't have it, then create this request, go to this website, click on this put, and then you know what to do. Right click on this URL, paste it in URL, change the method, and also use this method body, like the request body, like this.
Yeah, can you check my screen, please?
Okay.
So, whatever,
This is
hold
not
on
the
just a
best.
second.
Okay.
So where do I go?
Test tab.
Test tab?
Test tab. You see that there is a body, request body.
Test tab.
So after this request body, we have a prerequisite and test. Click on this
Yeah,
test.
this one.
Yes, click on
Okay.
test. And then can you close this console? It's taking a lot of space from here. There is a close button on the right corner. On the right corner, there is a close.
Yeah, I actually don't see my screen completely. Hold on just a second.
Okay, so you have to drag it.
I don't know what that is.
No, you have to drag this window, this Postman window, because that cross is outside this window.
Yes.
Now you see that the cross is here.
Okay.
Now you see this snippet here.
I'm sorry, say it again, please.
You see that snippets here on the right side.
Snippet. Yes, yes, I do see it. Yes.
So scroll down. Scroll a little
Yes.
down, and then you will see this test status code 200. There it is. There it is. Status
Okay.
code is 200. Click on it. Done. Now
Okay. Click on what? I'm sorry.
click on send. Now in the response, you see that there is a one more test results. In the response header, test results, yes, click on it, and then it will tell you what is the
Is it good?
yes, it's good.
So basically from here we go to tests and then we go to snippets, right? And
Yes.
then we find the status code, we click on it, and then we go here and we see the test results
Yes,
to see if it's matching, right?
yes, that's right. Now you have to
Okay,
do the same thing for put.
okay, put, okay. So
So
I go there,
yes,
yeah,
here.
I go to
Now
tests.
before you run it, before you add this test, click on send. No, not the put. I mean post. Sorry, everyone. Can you please do that on post, not on put? Because for the put, you will get the same status code. So create another request.
Okay, a new request, right?
Yes.
Add request.
Yes, everyone, please work on the post, not put, okay? Because for the post, you will be getting status code 201. So you have to do that on post. Now go to that website, get the URL for the post.
Excuse me, right now you are wanting us to do for the post, right?
Post, yes.
Okay. I'm going to do it. Thank you.
Scroll up. Here is the post. Yes. Click on post. Now scroll up and then copy this URL. Copy this link address. Go back to your Postman. Okay. Now you have to do one more thing. There is a request body. Go back to that website again. Copy this request body, not this one, the middle one. Yes. So this is the request body.
Right.
Copy this and go back, and you have to paste it in request body in the Postman.
Right here, right?
Uh,
Request body. Okay, body. I got it. Hold on. Right here.
yes, but you
I
can
have to
become
choose
raw.
raw first, right? Yeah. And then JSON.
Yes, that's right.
JSON. And then. Okay.
Now click on
All right. Now click on send. Okay.
now you got what is the status code? Here,
201.
201. Now you have to create the test for 201. Okay.
So do I go here?
Yes. Go there. You have to add the
And
to status code. So scroll down on the snippet. No,
the status.
a little up. No, a little up.
Little, okay, little up. Okay.
There it is.
This one? This
Yes.
one? Okay.
Now you have to think what thing you have to change from this code, because your expectation is 201 now, but this is by default it's giving you 200, right?
Right.
So now where you have to make some changes, you have to think that.
Right here?
Yes, so by default it's 200. Now we are expecting 201. So we have to make the changes here. So instead of 200, it will be 201. Yeah, that's right, Onik. So I think, Onik, you are getting this test, right? And you also have to make one more change in the first line, because if you don't change it, what will happen is click on, don't change it and run it. Keep it 200 and click on send. Now take the test results tab. Test results tab down.
Oh, okay. Here.
Now you see the status code is 200. So it's giving you the wrong information, right? But
Right.
you're testing it for 201, but it's saying 200. So that's why you have to take the code to line number 1. Okay.
Okay.
Now click on send and you will see that it's working for that to instead of 200. Okay. Now I believe you got the idea. Like snippet, the status code is 200, but if you have some other status code, you know where you have to change it. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
No problem. So let me presenter again. Okay, so this is like actually you might be doing in the project. So if you, even though if you are a manual tester and if you are testing it like manually, it is time consuming. Instead of doing that, just use this test app to verify the status code. It's very easy to do that. And right now it's 8:29. After the break, I will show you that if you want to validate the response data, there is also one more snippet here. We will use that. Okay. So we'll take 15 minutes break, and after the break, we'll learn more about this Postman, more about these things. And in the meantime, if you're done with the break, please do some practice with this snippet code, that is status code. Okay.
Do you mind if I show my screen? I did with the first one, it result test pass, but I tried with the post, but it's saying failed.
Okay. Okay.
So the post one I choose, it was a status code 201. That is it's supposed to be 201.
Yes. Now
I
go back
copy
to
the
the post.
URL and copy the paste by put the body, JSON, everything.
Okay.
Then I went to the snippets, then choose the code 200.
Okay. Now remove the two of this snippet. We don't need like a multiple time. We just need only for one time. So remove everything from here, from the test.
These two?
No, remove everything from the test tab. All the codes. Remove everything. Delete everything.
Okay,
Okay.
delete it.
Then click on this status code. Code is 200. That's snippet again. Only for one time. That's it. Now, what is your expectation?
201.
So this is a by default snippet for
Yes.
200. Now you have to make some changes here in this snippet to verify with 201.
Is it good now?
Do you think it's good now?
Yes, I believe it's good now.
That is the place where it will do the actual check. But your message is still says that status code is 200. You also have to change the message.
Okay.
Function name, basically. This is not the message, this is called a function name, but you also have to change it. So click on send now, then you will see it's passed.
Okay, request and function both have to match, right?
Yes, function name is basically showing here. So this is says that this function passed. But when you have like let's say that you are verifying 201, but you have used the function name with 200.
I saw it when you are doing it with the suffering, but over here I have a question. Still we are doing it manually, so it is not count as
No,
automation.
you're not doing it manually anymore. So if you are hitting send, you don't need to verify this status code manually.
Okay.
So for example, that's the reason. So did you add that status code in first one?
Yeah, the first one I just click the status code and I click on the test and it's run and it's match the requested
Okay.
status code.
Can you click on the first request, first get request? So you already have this one, right?
Yeah.
Now there is a three dot in the collection, right?
Yes, over here.
Not and this one, yes. Click on this and click on run collection and click on run new collection one. No, here the collection. Run this collection. So there is a blue button. Run this. Run new collection one. Yes, click on this.
I'm sorry because it was hidden by those.
Okay, no problem. So what you need to do is you have to go back to the close this collection or keep this collection, no problem. Go back to the request. Go back to this request. Yes, request. Go back to this request. Yes, first request. Click on save. You have to save all of this, and then do that. Save it for others as well.
Yeah, this one I did saved.
The second one, yes, save it. Okay, now go back to this last tab again, new collection run. You see that last tab on the top?
Last tab on the top. Sorry, I
Okay.
didn't understand.
It's okay. Now go back to the run collection again. No, run the collection again. So click on this three dot on the collection
Okay.
and then click on run collection.
Oh, the run collection you have to get it from always the new collection.
No, it will open a new tab. You see that the tab open on the top.
Mm-hmm.
So the previous tab is basically the previous run collection. So that's
Yeah.
why telling you to open that tab, but it's okay. If you just open this one, it's fine. Now click on Run New Collection 1. So what it says that 200, 200 and test pass, right?
Yes.
So after that, you can also, you see that on top it says that export result. So you can also export the result, and then you can share this result with your team. So
Cool.
its results is saving in JSON format. So you can save that, you can share this result with your team. So that's why if you have the automation, that the test, you don't need to do that manually. You don't need to test manually. So it's
Okay.
checking. By default, it's checking, and it's also adding that in the report.
Good. Got it now. Perfect. Thank you very much. I do not want to waste the break time. I really appreciate.
No problem. So whenever you are done with your break, all of you, whenever you're done with your break, just do some practice, like add the test and try to run it from collection. Okay. Let's go to the break now. Let's take a break until 8:50. 15 minutes break. Okay.
This conference will now be recorded.
So before the break, I showed Mizan that why we need this test, because if you have, like, for example, 100 requests, if you need to check it manually, the status code, like you have to go each and every request and then find out that which one is passing, which is matching or not. So let's say that if I want to run this runner class collection, sorry, if I want to run this collection, let's say I have 100 requests here under this collection. Now once I run it, if I don't have this test, then it will be like this, no test in this request. So that's mean that I have to validate this status code manually for each and every request, right? But if I have test tab, if I have added this test, save it. Let me add this status code. Sorry, yeah, status code under the test for this request. Save it. So make sure you save that request whenever you're running from what's called the collection. You have to save your request, otherwise it will not run with your new adjustment, or if you change anything, it will not run with that. Okay, so it will consider whatever you did previously, it will run with that part. So because this is my post method, so I'm expecting 201 here, and this should be also 201, and this is my post method, sorry, this is my put method, the last one, and let me add this status code again, and this is also 200, which is fine. Now
You save now before sending it.
yes, we have to save it before we run this request from collection. Saving it. I also have to save the previous one, I believe. Yes, I have to save it. So my save is done.
So every time when we'll go for the collection and open our folder and select the new collection or for put, post or get, we have to save it before sending it every time.
Yes, that's true.
Because the database can be updated by the developer on the backend, right?
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so I'm in the collection again, and then when you click on this run again, then again it will run, and in this time I will see some test results here. And in this test result, you see that for each and every request, I have a separate test. It says pass, 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 pass. So I have total 4 pass, 0 failed, 0 escape. So that's mean that all of the requests are passed. So if there is any specific, for example, let's say if I want to fail for this specific request intentionally, save it, collection, and then run it. So once you run it, then it will tell you that how many got passed, how many failed. So you will get the report here, basically the basic report here. You see that? So my first request passed, second request failed, third passed, fourth also passed. So if you say it's failed, then you can also validate why it failed. So you have to check. How can you check it? You have to go to this console and you have to check it from the bottom. So you have to scroll down all the way to the bottom, and the third request is this one, which is failed. So let me check why it failed. So it says that status code is 200, but my status code expectation was 201. That's why the test was failed. But in this case, 200, okay, the status code is okay, which is fine. But my test failed. So if you want, you can verify here the actual result from this response body. If you want to check what is the response is, so you can verify from here. Other than that, from this result, you can also see this as like a summary like this. How many passed, how many failed, and if there is a fail, what is the failure is. Okay, and this is now, this header is much clear now. I have 4 tests. I run it only for one time, and this is the duration, and this is the time how much it takes to get the response. Now let me go back to that. Let me go to this new run.
Excuse me, if you go back to the new run, I want to say something over here. So this out of 4, 3 test has been passed, 1 is failed. So I will just click on the report and save it, and I can share it with my scam master or the QA lead, whatever the person is.
Yes.
I don't need to just fix this why it is failed. I can just validate the reason.
You have to verify why it failed, and then
Okay.
you have to mention that in the team, in the meeting, like your expectation is this, but you are getting something like this. So you
Exactly.
have to be very clear that why it failed, because in the meeting it will they will ask you that, okay, this one is failed, but why it failed.
Okay.
So you
So
have
we
to
have to go
mention
to
your
the bottom, and after that we have to check the body. Then I have to mention this is the problem expected. Status code is 200, but it's 201.
yes, that's right.
Perfect. Thank you. Understand.
Okay, so now let's say that I want to run this collection for 2 times. So here its iteration is 1. If you want to make it 2, just make it 2 and then click on run new collection. Now this collection will run for 2 times. Now you see that this collection, all the requests run for 2 times, and each time it passed. You see that 2. For this one, for both of the time it failed. This one, 2. 2 is green, that means it run for 2 times, and both of the time it passed. So this is the way, if you want to run the same request for multiple times, you can do that. Okay. And if you want to share your report, just click on export result. Then you will be able to export this result in JSON format. JSON, you already know what is the JSON format is. So let me.
I could not change it in the iteration. I don't know. I don't see that option.
You don't see that option?
Yeah.
Okay, let me check.
Yeah. Do you,
Click on
yeah.
new run because you didn't save the request. That's why you are getting this issue. But click on new run. You see that there is an iteration. It's number.
Oh, I see. I have to click new run first or something.
Yeah, if you want to open that from that collection run, then you have to click on new run. But if you
Okay,
click
okay.
on this three dots from the collection, yes, three dots here, and click on run collection. Then it will open the same page again.
Oh, okay, okay, okay. So for the, I click the new run to see this, and if I have to change
Yeah.
iteration and all these things, that's how you do it. Ah, okay, thank you.
Okay. Okay, so okay, I saved that result. So let me check how this results look like. So this is my result, new collection, Postman collection one, Postman test run.json file. So let me open it in Notepad, and this is my results. Okay, you see that this is my result. Total fail is 2, total pass is 6, and this is saying that what it checked. So this is my total result is here. So you can pass this result to your team member. Okay.
Where is the failed one?
What is a failed one means?
Like the one which one failed in the
Okay.
result?
Yeah, you can check it here. Let me. So this is pass. This one is pass. This one is also pass.
Yeah.
So this
Failed
one.
two, failed two.
This one is pass.
Failed 0.
This pass. Total count 2. This is failed. So this is I believe this is the failed one. Where is that?
I saw in the app something was written failed 2. More up.
Oh, it should be here. Okay, yes.
Yeah.
It's here. It's failed to. So our second request is a failure. So it will show you here.
So if they ask me what is the issue on that time from the report, if they want us to explain, I can open this report and I can
Yeah.
show them this is the field over here.
So you have to tell them what is the request name is, and what is the expectation is, and why it failed.
Okay, good.
Okay.
Thank you
And
for opening this result. It perfectly cleared us.
okay, no problem. So Beauty, I think how did you pass the results? Pass the results means that how can you send the results to your team member? So you have to attach this file in your email. You have to attach the JSON file in your email before you send the report. That's it. The way you send me the report by the email is the same way.
So I'm not really sure then how you got to that report. How we could get that report. So do we have to go to a file explorer or something?
Yeah, you have to click on export results. So how you export the results? You mean?
No, the one that you said you can email it to your team members or something. You know,
Yes.
yeah.
When you open the email, when you open the create a new email, you have options to attach file. So you
Yeah,
have to.
I know, but no, but the report, how do we get that?
So you have to export it first. You have to
Okay,
export the result first, and then you can save. You have to save this result. You have to save this report in your local first, in your computer first, and then only.
Uh-huh.
share that with your team member.
Yeah, but I only see the import tab. I don't see any export.
This is export here on the right corner. See that? Top right corner.
Hold on, let me check. Oh, for results. Hold on, let me try that.
Okay.
So, export result. Maybe I'm in the wrong window. It's not showing. Hold on, let me see export result. I don't see the export result here. So if I click on export result, I will see that, and then I can email it to you.
No, when you click on the export result, then it will tell you that exactly where you want to save this report. Then
Okay.
select the location and then click on save. So it will save. Then when you are sending you the email, this report to your team member, then open the email and then attach that file from that location.
Okay. That's fine. Thank you.
No problem. Okay, so now I think you got that idea. Like if you have a request, how to make the request. If you have a okay, so I have to show you one thing here. Let's say that I want to verify if I have this body, if I am creating a new user with this data, and if I'm getting that data correctly, if it's saving the data correctly or not. So what I can do is I can read this information, name, and then verify. Okay. So to do that, let's go to this test tab again. And after the line number 3, let me go to that new line. And then here from the snippet, there is already a function over there. It's called JSON value check. You can do that. Let me check. JSON value, JSON data is equals to, no, this is the one, and this is another one, contains string equals to string. Let me check this. Okay, this is another one. We can use that one as well. If the response is very simple, then we can use this one. This is I want to verify if my name is there or not. In that response, I can use this one. This is very simple one. So let me check. It failed. Let me check why it failed. What is correct? Okay, so assertion expected response but got okay. So if I have a content, okay, that is the content one, not that. Okay, so if your response is very small, then you can go for it. If your response is very small like this, then only you can go for it. But if you have a multiple thing, like for example, this request. In this request, I have multiple users. So in this kind of situation, it will be like a little different. So in this case, we have to go for something like, let me check the snippet. Okay, so for any specific one, you have to go for JSON value check. Is that the one? Yes, that is the one. JSON value check. I barely use this one, but it's fine. JSON value dot data, JSON data, value dot equals dot it's a very long time that I use this function. Let me check it.
No worries.
Because whatever we are doing, the API testing, we can also perform this testing from Java, and for that we have to use a specific library. It's called REST Assure. So in many cases, in many requirements, they might ask you that, do you know REST Assure? Or even interview, they might ask you that, do you know REST Assure? Just simply say, no, I didn't get a chance to work with REST Assure. I just work with the Postman. I verify the data from the Postman only. Okay. Okay, so it's JSON data dot JSON data dot. It's supposed to be value. It's supposed to be value. Yeah, dot. PM dot JSON request body. Oh, okay, sorry, I was on mute, sorry. If you want to verify the information which is in the like just after this starting curly bracket, it's very easy to verify this. Like you just type the key. This is the key, so just type that key here, and then you are checking dot two dot equals the number. What is the number is, or what is the value is. Okay, but in case of data, I believe you have to go for specific data. For example, data, and if I am data in the first location, so it should be 0 dot. For example, I want to check the first name, and the first name is something like this, Mitchell. So let me. Okay, so I'm trying to verify if in the first data, the first user I have in this list is this name or not. Okay, I'm not sure about this code, but let me check it. So test is passed, and the reason is because I'm trying to verify the first name and the location. The main thing here is the location is mandatory here. If you have something like this data, and under the data you have multiple users, then you have to be sure that which user have this Michael. So let's say that if you are checking with the one, it will fail because in the data in one location there is no name with that, it's Lindsay, but your expectation is Michael, so you cannot do that. So this is the way how you can validate the data, any specific data. Okay, and for that you have to use this snippet. It's called response body JSON value checked. So this is a value, this is a JSON response, and I want to verify the response from this JSON file, JSON response. Okay, so I will share this. Okay, let me share this so that you can use this one, so that you can use this. Okay, you can copy this and you can keep it, because when I will close this meeting, it will go, you will not be able to copy this again. So this is the way how we can verify the data. Okay, so now let's say that it's I'm trying to make it pass, or let's say this, I'm trying to make it fail. Okay, let's save it. Let's go to the second one. I think I have to save it as well. No, I don't need to save it. I don't need to save it. So let's go back to the collection. So let's run this collection and see what it says. Okay, run collection. And now it says that this is my first test is passed, but the second test failed. And the failure is this one, check per page user. So I didn't change the function name, so I have to change the function name here. Check the first user first name. Okay, check the first user first name. So in this case it's failing, but if you want to make it pass, you have to make it 0, because I know that this person is in the first location. So now save it. Now go to this collection and then run it again. Now you'll see some meaningful information here if it is passed, but if it is failed, then it will tell you that why it failed. You have to check it from the console. So it passed, you see that? So check the first user first name, it passed. But in case if it failed, then you have to check it in the console why it failed. So let me show you that one as well. It will help you. So let's say that I have a spelling mistake here. Oh, that one. That's it. So let me save it and then run this collection again. So when you export the result, you will get the details that why it failed. But if you want to see that in the Postman, you can also check that from the console. So let me show you. Okay, so oh, did I save it? I think I didn't save it. It's supposed to fail. Okay, let me run it again. Okay, now it's showing the correct one. So it's failing. You see that this test is failing. Now, if you want to check why it failed, if you see this view result, then it will tell you that some more information. Now click on this request. Click on this the first request, and then you can go to this response body. Then here it's not showing anything, but you can also check it from the console. So go to this console, open the console. Now you have to go all the way to the bottom, and I have to check the fourth request. This is the fourth request. Sorry, the first request. So click on that, and then click on response body, and then verify why it failed. So basically, I have to verify that this is the ID. So this is the name. The first name is this Michael, but I have provided something else. You see that? So this is my assertion here. So because of this one, it failed. So you can
Question
also
over here.
sorry.
Question over here. Like we know over here we did change the name. Like intentionally we put some sleeping spelling mistake. But if it is not, then it's going to be very hard for understand where is the mistake done on this code on the body of the response body.
No, because you know that where the location is. So you know the first location is that Michael, right? So you have to check it in the first location. If you are checking the second, you have to check it in the second. Not clear? So in this test,
Yeah,
in this,
it's clear, but mm,
yeah, it,
slightly like lots of things over here going on.
yes, that's true. So if you want to check it clearly, I'm not sure that. Okay, let me
If is
check.
there any code error, if it is like a error place highlighted with the red icon or something, all the things are in a black and small things. So that's why.
Hmm.
You got my point, Zakir bhai, right?
Yeah, I got your point, but the thing is, I'm trying to see if I can give you some idea. So here, let me. So I'm not sure that how many of you are familiar with this one, but let me check if I have this one. No, I don't have this one. Okay, I don't have that in my machine as well. So there is one more notepad that is called Notepad++. If we paste this information in Notepad++, it will show you in that format. So right now it's not showing in that format. It's not showing, but basically it's not showing in the like readable format, but still I can find it like where I have to find check the value is from, right? I know it's a little harder, but yes, we have to adjust with these things. Okay. Any question? Any more questions? No?
Yeah, so for the console, like the which ones? Every time we need to check the bottom one for the which one we run the last, like the
Yes.
how can.
Yes, that is one of the thing that you have to do. So I think what you can do is that will be much more easier. Every time you run your collection, before you run your collection, clear it. There is a clear
Okay.
button. Clear
Okay.
it, then it will clear this console. And once it clear the console, now when you run it, you will see only the new results here, new
Okay.
logs here. Okay.
Then we don't
Okay.
have to count first one, second one. It will be easier if we clear.
Yes, that's true.
Okay.
Okay, so that is pretty much with this test and how to do the test. So in interview, if they ask you, do you know how to do automation in Postman? What will be your answer?
Yes.
Yes, you know how to do automation in Postman. So they might not ask more than that, but in case if they ask you that, okay, how do you do automation in Postman, you just need to mention that in Postman we have a test tab. Under the test tab we have to write our code to validate any like status code or validate any data. That's it. And if they ask you anything about the code, just tell them that I'm using the snippet that is given by the Postman. I really didn't memorize that. It's just like already given. I'm just using it. So be honest with these questions, okay?
Yes. Thank you.
No problem. Okay. Now we are almost done with all these things. Okay, we are almost done. Now the thing is, we are talking about the status code, right? And till now, you know only three status code, I believe. One is 200, another is 201 for the post, and I told you to practice on delete. So delete is basically giving you 204. But other than this, we also have some other access codes. So they will ask you these access codes. Where is the Firefox? Status code, not status code, HTTP. Okay, so this is the first one. I will share this URL with all of you, no problem. So this is the URL. You just have to go there, and then you need to know some of the status code. You don't need to remember all of them. You just need to know some of them. So first of all, you don't need this 100. So starting from 100 and it goes to till 500. So you don't there are like a lot of status code, but I will give you some specific status code that at least you should know. First of all, 200, it's basic one. You should know about that because for the get, for the put, you will get status code 200. In the interview, they might ask you, so what is status code 200? So you can say status code 200 means it's okay. Okay means that whenever we are using get method, whenever you're using put method, we are getting this status code. They will understand that. Then 201, you already know that. When you are using post method, we are getting 201. Okay. After that, just use this one, 204. 204 means no content. When you delete something, then it shows 204. Okay, so till now we got 3 status code. Now let's go to the 300 area. So in 300, usually you have to, usually they will not ask anything from 300. 400. 4 is one of the important codes. Okay, 400 is the bad request. For example, if you are trying to access any page that is not available, there is no website with that URL, so you are trying to access that is a bad request. So this is 400. So they will ask you what is 400 status code. You have to say bad request. Okay, then 401 unauthorized. Let's say that you are not authorized to access any website. For example, the Amazon internal websites, you are not authorized to do that. But if you have the URL and if you hit that, it will give you 401 because you are unauthorized. Okay, so 400, 401. Then 404, which is very common for everyone. 404 means that page not found. For example, in Amazon.com, they have a contact us page, but for some reason that contact us page is not working. So you will see 404, this error. This error means that that page is not available. Okay, so this is one of the code, 404. Sometimes you will see you don't need it for interview, but okay, it's fine. I will not give you anything without the interview things. Okay, so this is done. 400 is done. 500. 500 is basically for internal server error. For example, if the server is down, then you will get this 500 internal server error code. So from this 500, it's almost similar to 503, but it will give you service unavailable. So the difference is the server, if you make a request in the server and server doesn't know how to handle that, then it will give you the 500. But in case of 503, the server is down, then it will not give you any response. In that case, it will give you 503. But in case the server is up but it's not handling any request, then it will give you 500. Okay, so there are the two status code, and I believe that is it. So these are the at least status code you need to know, okay, for the interview, for the work. You got the point? Did you get the list? Did you get it?
Yeah, I have the list.
Okay, you wrote it right down. Okay, that's fine then. Because I didn't write it. If you wrote it down, then it's fine. You just need to remember only this 5. How many codes are there?
Right now we are in 500, right?
Right now it's 500. Yes. So, but how many codes you? I said that is important.
201, 204, 200, then 401, 404, and 501, 503.
Okay, no problem. You can get it from recording, but is how many is there? Like total number of.
No, I didn't remember how many of them is total.
Okay, so I think its total is 8, but let me count it again. So Salma, I think you are right, but let me check it. So 200, 201, 204, 204, Then let's go to this 400, 400, 401, 404. Okay, I'll type it. Just give me a second. And then I believe there's nothing here. Okay. Then it says 500, 500, and 503. And also with this 503, please include this 502. So let me write it down here. Two hundred twenty-one, 204, 400, 401, 444. Yes, that is right, Salman. Thank you for this list. I hope everyone will copy this list and keep it safe. Like, if possible, please also add this 500, 500, 502. Okay, so that is it from the status code. So mostly you will be working with 200, 201, 204. That's it. But sometimes if you are experiencing, like if that page is not found, if the server is down, then you will see 400 or 500 things. But mostly you will work with that. But in the interview, they might ask you this status codes. Okay. Okay. So now let's go back to the Postman. Now here, if you remember, in our last session, I created an environment first. So this is the environment that I created January 2023, and under this environment, I can create hundreds of collection, and under the collection, I can create hundred of requests, hundred of folders. So I can create all of these things. Now this environment, if you try to relate to Java, environment here is basically kind of like your project. Okay, you can create multiple environments and you can work on multiple environments. Environment is important because if you want to share your work with your team, you can just add them in your team. So there is something else, we are not going to that part, but that is, you can add it. But if you are working in a project, they will tell you that how to do that. Okay. And usually what they do is they don't create the teams. If they want to share this collection with you, they export this collection. There is an option called export. So they export this collection and they share that file with you, and then you have to import it. So this is the way basically how they share these collections within the teams. Okay. And next thing is one of the important thing for your work, but not important for your interview, but I should show you. In Java, we know that we can create variables, right? We can create variables like a local variable, global variable, right? In Postman, we can also create variables. We can create variables in 5 levels. Okay, we can create variables for 5 levels. So let's create this variable. First of all, you see that this script level, this is a script. This is where you can do your automation script. Not only automation script, like a development part also, they can do that. They can use this part. So here they can create variables. This is kind of like a local variable to that script. So they just type var. Var means the variable in JavaScript. In Java, we use integer, boolean, double, different data types. But in JavaScript, it's very intelligent. We don't need to mention what kind of data we are going to create. we just need to mention the var. Var means variable, and then type a equals to 10. Now what it will do is it will create a variable with 10. It will consider this variable as an integer because it have only integer value. JavaScript concept is little different. We're not going to learn the JavaScript. I'm just showing you that where in which places we can create variables. This is the one. This is the one place where you can create variables. Another place where we can create variables is collection. You see that? So this variable is accessible within this request only. Okay, you cannot use this variable outside this request. So this variable I created here in the first request, I cannot use this variable in my second request. Now, if I want to use a variable that can be accessible in both of the requests, then I have to go here in this three dot of the collection, and then I have to click on edit. Once I click on edit, think I have to close it and get it back. Okay, by the time it's start, let me clear one thing. So today is the last session in our this training. So we're done. We're done with everything. So there will be two sessions for interview. So in that session, so I will give you the idea what you need to do when you'll be in the market. Why I'm getting this. Okay, so it's giving me hard time. Okay, it's coming. So I will give you the idea of what you need to do when you're in the market. So at the initial part, like how we'll create your profile, what we will do for you, and then what exactly you will do when you'll be in the market, and then I will give you some idea about the interview, and I will also give you the idea if you join the project, what will be your approach to work in that project. So that things I will give you in two sessions. Is it possible for everyone to join that session on Saturday and Sunday morning? No? Okay. I got one no. That's mean that I will not go, I will not change that time. So I will keep that as is, like this time. No problem. I'll keep that as is, like Tuesday and Thursday next week. There will be like two sessions. And that session is basically based on the interview, and I will give you like basic idea and the terms that you'll hear when you'll be in the market. And most importantly, that session will not be recorded, so you have to join if you want to go to the market. And I will say, even though if you are not ready for market, join this session, and also try to go to that market as early as possible, because January is the good time to start your profile, because we already have done with all our like vacations, so all are done. Now all the companies, whoever is waiting for until the vacation of this new year, they are done. Now they are looking for new people. There are like a lot of jobs are available in the market. the people who can relocate, they should relocate for the first project, but the people who doesn't want to relocate, then it's fine. You can look for remote, or you can look for the like job within the same city. Otherwise, it might take some time, but you will get the job because jobs are available right now. You might be hearing that recession on the big companies, but still there are like a lot of jobs are available in that the different companies like banks, and I know that I can see like a lot of requirements are coming. That's why I'm just telling you. But it's up to you. If you think like no, you will take like couple of days or a couple of weeks to organize yourself and then go to the market, I will say it will be your waste of time because we'll need some time to make your profile, and then you will check that will you might need to change something. You have to review that, we have to verify that, and then you will go to the market. It will take like almost like 3 or 4 weeks. So within these 3 4 weeks you can do your practice, you can like learn whatever you missed, and then you will be ready for the market. Because right now you know the terms. If anyone asks you something, at least you can answer, but after 1 or 2 months you'll be starting forgetting these things. So it will be better if you go as early as possible. Now it's up to you. We will not force you, but it's up to you. Okay. Okay, so this is the collection, and then I clicked on these 3 dots and click on edit, and then I got this page where all this authentication, prerequisite, test, variables, runs. I also have one more tab that is called variables. So here, if I create any variable, this variable is accessible in all of my requests. Okay, this is kind of like, you can call this one as a global variable. Okay, so this is one place. Another place is, if you remember, no, I will go to that part later, but if you see here on the right top corner, just down of that the cross button, cross icon, you see that there is a icon with that eye. Click on that. Now it will tell you that you have 2 things. One is environment and another is globals. So in environments, click on this add, and then click on this. It's a new environment. No, it's not. It should not be new environment. It should be this January 2023, but still you can create another environment. And then if you want to create a variable like this, then you can do that. And this variable is accessible for all of your requests, all of your collections. Now, previously we created the variable here in the collection, but what if you have multiple collections? Like this one, I have a multiple collection, the collection 2. They say that this is my collection 2. So if I have this collection 2, and if I have this collection, and in this collection I have a variable A, this A variable is only accessible within this collection for all of the requests. But if you want to make any variable that is accessible for all of this collection, you can use this global and this environment level variables. Environment level variables is basically separated by the environments. If you have multiple environments, you can keep like separate variables for separate environments. And global is for everyone. Global is for everyone means that it can be accessible for any environment, any collection, any request. Just check that hierarchy here. Globals means that anywhere, any people can use it. Means that any environment, any collection, any request. Okay. Now, environment. environment means that if you have like 4 environments, and if you have a variable if you have a variable for a specific one variable for one environment, that means that that variable is accessible within that environment for all collection, all request. So my 2 part is done. This part is done. Second part is, the third one is collection level. Collection level means that if you have a variable, if you want to set a variable for each and every collection, separate collections, you can do that. Where is that? Here it is, collection variable. So you can set this variable for your collection level. That means that this variable will be only accessible within this collection. So third is gone. Fourth is, if you want to set a variable for any specific request, you can also do that. Okay, and this is the way how can you do that. And the fifth one is little different. Fifth one is basically if you want to get your variable from outside, from the Excel file. So it's already 9:52 and it will take some time to set up, so I'm not going to show you today, but I have a plan to show you 2 things on the interview session before I start the interview session on next Tuesday. That is, one is for Git, if you have a project and if you want to host that project in that GitHub, so that is the other way. And the second thing is the read any data from the Excel sheet in Java, and I'm going to add this part on Tuesday as well, to just add this Excel sheet. It will be very easy, but for now I have to make this Excel sheet. I don't have it right now, so I have to create that first. I have to create that data and then I can only show you. So I don't have this ready now, that's why I will show you on Tuesday. So these 3 things I will show you on Tuesday, and then we'll start the interview session. But for now, these are the things we have in API, nothing else. You might be thinking that in API we have a lot of things, we have a lot of things we can do, but the main thing is you have a URL and you have to make a request. You have to choose the method name, whatever the method is. Then once you send the request, based on the request, you have to verify the status code and the response. So that is your main task in that API testing. And other 2 testing, the seconds, like response time and the size, there are like 2 more snippet you will find here. Let me show you. So there are like 2 more snippets are available here. You see that response time is less than 200 milliseconds. So you can use this one. So if your expectation is 100 milliseconds, just change it here. Instead of 200, just change it to 100. So you know that why we need to change it based on the requirement. Now there is one more snippet you might can use for this data validation, like size of the data. Where is that? It's not there. Okay, it's not there, but it's fine. Okay, so this is all about the API. Adding variable is important. Adding variable is important in case of, like, for example, you want to share that variable in your request, in your multiple request. Then adding a variable is important. If you want to share your variable in multiple collection, then variable is important. For example, like this authorization, this bearer token, you need this bearer token for all of your requests. It doesn't matter that how many requests, how many connections you have. You need this token for all of the requests, which is mandatory. So what you can do is you can get this barrier token and you can keep this barrier token in it's kind of like in a global variable. Once you have this global variable, then you can just use that here in your headers. That's it. Okay. Any other questions? No problem. Okay, so this is all about the API, and most of the cases, what they will ask you that for the API, do you know the API test? If you say yes, then they will ask you what is the which software you are using or which application you are using. You can say Postman, because Postman is free, but don't say that Postman is free. You can say that just only Postman. Then they might ask you what are the status codes. Different. They will ask you different status code. They might ask you the different methods like get, post, put, and delete, and they will ask you what are these methods are. They will ask you the difference between post and put. Then they might ask you how you validate that the status code, how you validate the data. You can say that I'm using test app and I'm using the snippets that is given by that Postman to verify the status code and data. So this is like if you keep your answer within this part, then you will be fine. But if you mention something more, then they will ask you more questions. Because this is not done, we are not done with that Postman. They're like if you want, you can do like 4 or 6 months course on Postman, only on Postman, to learn the API test. But in our case, just as a, like tester, this is like enough for testing. This is basically what you do. Okay, so this is it. We're done with everything in for our, not like except these 3 things that I mentioned earlier. Other than that, we are done with our course. Do you have any questions? So if you don't have any question, I will stop the recording.